Hello YouTube family, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sharita and welcome. And in today's video, we are going to focus on long-lasting fragrances. All of these fragrances are going to be perfect for this time of year, spring, because I feel like a lot of them, even though they have amazing lasting power, have a bit of a freshness underneath them. I mean, there are a few on here that are quite sweet, but I just find that these are really going to perform beautifully this time of year. You're going to get at minimum 8 to 10 hours of wear, well, at least on my skin. This is my experience, and of course keep in mind things like that is very subjective. It's just going to depend on your body chemistry, but these fragrances here give me all day wear. 8, 10, 12 hours easy, and a lot of them last even longer than that. So if you're in the market for a long-lasting fragrance, then let's go ahead and dive right into today's video. All right guys, before we start, as always, be sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and if you find any value in the content along the way, please be sure to give your girl a big thumbs up. So the first fragrance on today's list is from the house of Menthol. I have been wanting to add more Menthol into my collection, and so when this one came on my radar, I immediately said I really want to give this one a try. And it really is a win for me. This was a blind, I would say blind gift. I requested this from Twisted Lily, and I really am enjoying Arabians Musk. This actually does remind me of something that I do own in my collection, and I will tell you why. You may not think this if you have it, but this is just what I'm getting. So Arabians Musk is a orange blossom dates honey fragrance, but it also has this musky freshness underneath it, and so that is what I would describe it as. It's very vanilla forward, lots of musk, and a really hefty orange blossom. But the way the orange blossom and the powdery, musky tonka bean vanilla quality of it all is really going to put you in the mindset of Shag of Oud tonka. These are literally like cousins. I'm not gonna say they're just alike, but they have so many similarities. And orange blossom, very, very powdery tonka vanilla. Orange blossom, very powdery tonka vanilla. And so that's why I'm saying they're definitely going to be related in that way, and they both give really great performance for something that fares on that fresher, muskier, powdery side. So Arabians Musk opens with notes of bergamot and honey. You have middle notes of orange blossom and dates, and you have base notes of musk, sugar, tonka bean, and vanilla. To me, this is literally giving Shag of Oud tonka, but you are going to throw in a little bit of honey and a little dates. And we are saying honey and dates. How sweet is it getting? Does it get cloying, thick, syrupy? Not at all. Again, it's going to wear very similarly, but you really do pick out the dates and that honey, that touch of honey, and that is what is going to separate them. So you can have both, absolutely. But I just think that this is a really beautiful, sweet fragrance that doesn't wear too sweet, gourmand, and heavy. It's just giving you a little bit of both worlds, all right? But great lasting power. Again, this one is Arabians Musk, and this is from the house of Menthol. Next up is a freshie, and this thing lasts all day, and it really does have some really beautiful moleculars, you know, in the base helping this performance, because typically if you're talking about something that's very citrus forward, they don't really last long on the skin. But this one, Lemonata, was giving me wear all day. I had no problem smelling this on me. It has really good projection. I wouldn't say it's a beast, but it definitely will give you all day wear easy. So Lemonata from the house of Narcotica is going to put you in the mindset of God of Fire, at least to my nose. And I didn't understand why I was getting that. Like, it was reminding me of something, you know? And when I looked at the notes and I looked at God of Fire, I was like, okay, that's why they're reminding me of each other. They both have the mango. They both have the red fruits. They both have that zest of ginger. And this to me is just not going to wear as sharp and as loud because you have grapefruit in here. Whereas I think that God of Fire has a really robust lemon. So that's where they will differ. Even though this is Lemonata, I don't see any lemon actually featured in the notes. So this one opens with the red currant, grapefruit, ginger, and pink pepper. You have middle notes of mango, marine notes, fig, LME, and ambroxan, and you have base notes of amber, cedarwood, musk, and moss. So with this fragrance, you do get a touch of moss. It's not anything that's going to be overbearing as far as the mossy quality, but it is very marine. As it develops on the skin, it really does change quite a bit throughout, you know, the opening to the final final dry down. When I first spray this, I do get a lot of grapefruit. I get a really beautiful bright mango, and you get that pop of ginger. Of course, you do get the red fruits, but as it wears, you get, you know, a little touch of fig, and you get a lot of marine, but it's done in a really beautiful, easy to wear way for me. So if you struggle with marine notes, I will say for sure try this one, but I just think this is a much fresher take on something like God of Fire, but I don't think you need both. That's just me. If you're looking for something easier to wear, fresher with, you know, a little added complexity, then I would say try Lemonata out, because that is how I would describe the differences. But both of these fragrances are going to give you really, really substantial wearing power as far as the longevity of it. It doesn't wear quite as loud and as beastly as God of Fire, but I probably prefer this one over God of Fire. Okay, so this one is Lemonata, and this is from the house of Narcotica. Next is a really beautiful rose fragrance that is absolutely starting to trend right now. And you know, whenever Quentin Biche puts his nose on a rose, it's probably going to be hyped at least for a little bit. Okay, and La Rose from the Fetiche line of Christian Louboutin is just so gorgeous. This is a really unique, beautiful take on a rose, but for me, this doesn't wear overly complex. It's not going to be anywhere as complex as like a Delina or a Guidance. I think out of the three that I just mentioned, even something like Hibiscus Mahaja, also a rose, very complex. I think this is going to be less complex, but it is still giving beautiful niche quality. Even though this is a designer, you're going to pay a niche price. It's just so beautiful. This to me is really sweet for his usual typical style of how he does a rose. So I do think you have to love sweet fragrances. And you know, with this particular designer house, they don't give you a lot of notes. There's so much more going on in this fragrance than what 3 or 4 notes was just. I think they only list like the black cherry, ginger, rose, and I forgot, you know, which other note. But what is giving it such a beautiful sweetness? What is giving this fragrance this underlying freshness? I don't know, but that is how it wears. Very long lasting sweet cherry rose, probably one of the most beautiful sexy cherry fragrances in my collection now. And I just think that if you're in the market for a really remarkable, stunning, sexy rose cherry combo, then here she is. When I got this, I immediately put Carmina into the declutter pile. Okay, also a rose cherry scent. However, this wears with a much more addictive quality, so I'm going to reach for this a lot more. Carmina is a really beautiful scent, but I'm probably only missing this much after what, a year and a half, 2 years. I don't gravitate towards it. Just because the scent is beautiful, just because it's well crafted, doesn't mean that you're going to gravitate towards it yourself. And that's just kind of the boat that me and Carmina are in. But because this too is a rose and cherry fragrance, I am going to grab for this every single time. Rose cherry ginger, this is the one for me. All right, so if you have your fetiche La Rose, let me know in the comments below how you are vibing with it, loving it. The consensus so far is that everyone is absolutely loving this one, but just let me know your thoughts, good, bad, and different. I'm loving this one, and I just think that if you want a truly stunning rose that lasts a long time, then this is one you should definitely check out. Beautiful fragrance from Christian Louboutin. Again, this one is Fetiche La Rose. Next on the list is a beautiful niche fragrance that is going to give you the best of both worlds as far as rose and orange blossom. And I love seeing those together, but this one just really does set itself apart because this is giving me super sweet, beautiful candied orange blossom vibes, but you also have the rose in it that makes it really lush and big and bold and beautiful. And this is going to give you beast mode. Okay, this is an Neroli that gives you beast mode. Neroli Blanc Intense is absolutely stunning. I think if you like really loud wearing orange blossom scents with that touch of rose, lots of sweetness, but not necessarily gourmand, then I think you would enjoy this one. So Neroli Blanc Intense opens with notes of orange blossom, mandarin orange, Sicilian bergamot. You have middle notes of fruits, jasmine and rose, and you have base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, musk, and cedar. You are going to get lots of sweetness and vanilla, but I do think it wears very differently from, say, like a Love Don't Be Shy, or really any orange blossom Neroli that I have in my collection. It wears without a doubt the loudest. It has the best longevity out of any of the scent profiles like this one, maybe with the exception of Eau Feminine, but this is much more vanilla still affording Sweeter Than Old Feminine by M. Love. It's just a powerhouse, and this is not going to break the bank. This is niche that's not going to completely drain your bank account, and you are really going to get your money's worth with this fragrance, okay? Beautiful sweet orange blossom Neroli fragrance. Again, this one is Neroli Blanc, and this is the Intense. Speaking of Creed, next up on this list is one that I need to go ahead and start giving it some wears, because I don't think I wore this at all last year, but this is Aventus For Her. This is a feminine fragrance that is actually quite unisex wearing, to the point where some women smell this and think it just leans a little cologne and masculine, and I can totally get why someone would say that. I really can. So Aventus For Her puts me in the mindset of a really boss chick. It's spring. She wants to smell a little fruity, but she wants to remain a boss at the same time. This really is woody. It really is citrusy, and fragrances that are fruity, more so citrusy with a heavy woody quality to it, really does give that boss girl vibe every single time. This is so chic and just really self-assured femininity in a bottle. That's what I would describe this as. It has a really bright and prominent green apple and citrus in that top, and you're going to get a lot of that with some black currant as well, but a very hefty dose of sandalwood, and one that wears like a drier sandalwood. This is going to wear like that milky, creamy sandalwood, and again, because of the way that it is carried out, you really do get something that fares on that unisex end of things, okay? So this opens with green apple, bergamot, lemon, patchouli, pink pepper, and violet. You have middle notes of styrax, rose, musk, and sandalwood, and you have base notes of black currant, peach, amber, lilac, and ylang ylang. It is very musky. It's just a touch green, and again, just very fresh, citrus, woody. That is how I would describe it. There is enough sweetness in here where I feel like if you're in a fruity and sweet mood, it can still kind of scratch that itch, but above all, it's very citrus and quite woody, musky. That's how I would describe the girl Creed Aventus. Doesn't get a whole bunch of hype, you know, anymore, but I just think this is a phenomenal, beautiful scent for springtime, okay? Again, Aventus For Her from the House of Creed. Next is a beautiful take on frankincense, okay? This is from the House of Amouage. So as I say Amouage, you already know this is not going to be Safe Blind by. This is Existence. Very, very unique composition. I don't know where they got the idea to do, okay, let's do something really incense, frankincense, but we're also going to make it very fresh, and we're going to give it some rose. It's just very hard to describe. It's something you just have to try for yourself. It's giving incense, it's giving soapy, it's giving a touch of rose, and this is another masterful blend from the notes of Quentin Beige. Not going to be one for everyone, but I think if you enjoy frankincense and you are looking for something that is not giving fall winter frankincense, because typically that's kind of where we see this note shine, this is all year. This is I can smell like frankincense in spring and summer vibes. That is really how I would describe this personally. If you have this, please let me know your thoughts on it, because it is definitely a love for me. So Existence opens with notes of aldehydes, rose, lily of the valley. You have middle notes of mystical, labdanum, and frankincense, and you have base notes of white musk, ambergris, and benzoin. The ambergris comes off, is very fresh in here. Lasts 12 hours. Like anything from Amouage, very, very long lasting, 9 times out of 10. And because you have the mention of the lily of the valley, the aldehydes, you know that it's going to have just that feminine touch to it. And that's exactly what it has. So this one again is Existence from the House of Amouage, a really beautiful addition to my collection this year. Another Quentin Beige creation that we are going to get into next is from the House of Mason Crivelli. This is Hibiscus Mahaja. This is another rose creation, and oh my god, really one of the most stunning and unique powerhouse rose fragrances that will have you smelling better than everyone else in the room, in the building, down the block probably, but also very unique. Like no one is going to smell like you. You're not going to have to worry about smelling this everywhere you go. Such a beautiful rose fragrance, but there is definitely a unique facet to this. You're going to mix that rose with a bit of vanilla, mint, and leather. And I know you're like, what is this supposed to smell like? What is it going to smell like? It's just when you have to sample for yourself and try it and see how it wears on your skin, because I was so afraid to try this for so long, probably a good year after it was released. I know madly hyped, you know, when it first came out, but I was just like, mint, leather, it's going to be a no for me. Immediately when I got it, I was like, okay, I can definitely see myself wearing this. Eventually got a full bottle, okay? I do not regret it. So beautiful. And and I think this is the perfect time of year to wear this. Now, even though this is one that is very loud and beastly, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go into a fall and winter category. For me, when I think and smell hibiscus, I'm automatically thinking spring, I'm thinking summer, but then also the slight touch of that green that you get from the cassis, the mint, everything about this is just, it seems really uplifting to me. And so that's why I gravitate towards it more for times like this, where it's okay, we wake up, it's cold, it warms up in the middle of the day, we're really spring right now in Georgia, but will it work for the dead of summer? Maybe too much, okay? Am I going to actually think about pulling this out in the middle of winter? Probably not, because again, that hibiscus really does shine. So Hibiscus Mahaja has notes of hibiscus, damask rose, vanilla, cassis, leather, peppermint, ambrette, and cinnamon. Beautiful, beautiful, masterful creation, again, from my favorite nose, but I'm not biased in that way. He just did his thing again. And this one is Hibiscus Mahaja from Maison Crivelli. Next up is a fragrance that features an oud, and yes, some people want to wear their ouds all year. It's definitely not a note that you have to kind of confine to spring and summer. And if you are really a true oud lover, you absolutely need Enigma Oud from Roja Dove for spring and summer. This is going to be your really beautiful, slightly sweet take on an oud scent that is not going to wear too dark and heavy. And for that reason, I just love to pull it out this time of year. So Enigma Oud also is going to give you a little bit of a fresher vibe because it features some powdery notes, which is going to give you of course, a powdery quality in the fragrance, but it just helps you feel a little cleaner and drier. I don't know about you, but that's what powdery does for me. So this features not only the purple florals, but it also has a really hefty dose of orris. So outside of the fruits, the really bright, pretty fresh fruits, you're also getting powdery. And again, it's really helping to balance something as heavy as, you know, a beautiful, truly distinct oud. Also ambergris in there too, okay? So Enigma Oud has opening notes of bergamot. You have middle notes of peach, May rose, geranium, ylang ylang, rose, heliotrope, and neroli. And you have base notes of vanilla, musk, agar wood, sandalwood, orris, ambergris, and patchouli. Beautiful, solid tan, fruity oud fragrance that I think is easy to wear if you are trying to get into ouds, but you just really don't know where to start. I think this is a beautiful one. Not really a super sweet, but again, just more so fruity, fresh ambergris oud, okay? So this one again is Enigma Oud, and this is the Eau de Parfum concentration from Roja Parfums. Last but not least on this list is from the house of BDK, and this is Creme de CUIR. Something about notes like oud, really heavy musk, rose, leather, the CUIR in it all, suede. Those are notes that really do lend to a long-lasting quality in a fragrance, and this is no exception. This is all about suede and a sweet pineapple, but not overly syrupy, sticky sweet, just perfectly sweet to make you feel like, okay, I'm in a mood to wear a little suede note, but I also want to be fun, fruity, and a little sexy. And that's exactly what Creme de CUIR is. This too is another beautiful musky powdery fragrance, and it also features a gorgeous grapefruit note. So Creme de CUIR opens with notes of pineapple, grapefruit, bergamot, and mandarin orange, middle notes of white suede, sandalwood, pink pepper, and black pepper, and you have base notes of cashmere, vanilla, white musk, gray musk, and birch. Again, super musky. If you are looking for a phenomenal, sexy, leathery pineapple musky fragrance, then this is exactly what you need to get your nose on. This makes you feel so sexy, but that pineapple, okay, the way the cashmere gives it this really cozy vibe, it's like so many things. It is so many things wrapped up into one beautiful scent. And something about the BDKs, man, I only have two. I only have two in my collection, and they both feature like a leather nuance, and I just have to go out and say that they really know what they're doing with that particular note. It is a note that I really don't have a lot of, I don't gravitate towards. It has got to be done in a very smooth, soft way. It cannot come off as full on super thick, heavy suede or leather jacket. And between vanilla leather and Creme de CUIR, they have got me sold. Beautiful creation, very, very, very long lasting fragrance. All right, you guys, so that is it for me today. Please drop me in line and let me know some of your favorite long lasting spring fragrances that you have been wearing for the season of spring. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It has been real. I love you all, YouTube, and I will catch you guys on the next one.